So we're going to start off with some trifling immigration news, Yo-Yo. On Friday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott repealed his traffic-clogging immigration order that backed up commercial trucks at the U.S. Mexican border for over 30 hours. He is running for governor, and he is running for governor of Texas. He's the current governor of Texas. He's running for re-election, and his platform is no to immigration. Except the governors of the states really don't have control over immigration.
Right, that's what I thought.
Immigration's controlled by the federal government, but he is using immigration as a wedge issue. It's a culture issue now, instead of being an economic and humanitarian issue for the United States, which is really what it should be. It should be, what is the proper amount of immigration to the United States so we can have a sustained economy, we could all live a better life, and what is the humanitarian response to various issues that are going around the world where people are escaping from poverty, people are escaping from war, people are escaping from torture and everything else. So immigration has always been about economics and humanitarianism. And for the last generation, getting worse and worse and worse, immigration is now a culture issue. Okay, it's a culture issue about what it means to be an American. It's a culture issue about what is an American. Is an American just this white dude? Right? Or is an American somebody else? Because if you listen to the Republicans, it's a white dude. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you listen to me, Yo-Yo, American is somebody who gets to live in America.
Yeah.
And you get to live in America because of economic reasons, and you should get to live in America for humanitarian reasons. But it's now a cultural issue.
Do you feel like that turn happened after 9/11? Was that where the turn was?
The turn happened in the late 90s.
Late 90s.
The turn happened
before
with
9/11.
It was the second president, the second 4 years of Bill Clinton. When Newt Gingrich, you remember who Newt Gingrich was? He took over Congress, and he was a staunch conservative, and he forced Congress and ultimately Bill Clinton to sign a law, IRA and ETPA, and that started the turn towards militarizing police, militarizing Immigration and Naturalization Service. It wasn't even Department of Homeland Security. The 9/11 obviously escalated it all. But in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan, who was everybody's favorite staunch conservative, right? He signed amnesty. He was the last president to sign amnesty. He recognized that immigration was not a cultural wedge for political reasons, because that's what it is now. It's a cultural wedge for political reasons. But immigration is what is best economically for the United States, what is best for the United States welcoming people who are escaping all sorts of horrible situations where they are. You know, immigration's always been humanitarianism and economic prosperity for the United States. Rising tides, rise all ships. But now it's just a cultural wedge to divide Americans, and as, 50 million people in the United States of America either were born outside of the United States, I believe, what was our statistic, or was first generation of the United States. So what is that, 1 out of 4 people? So
that includes me.
Right.
I'm
so what's that? Like 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 people in the United States are either not born in the United States or first generation born in the United States.
That's a lot.
So the time of the Pilgrims of Thanksgiving, when the United States was 99% white pilgrims, it's no longer. And now all these Republican governors, they're all using it as a cultural wedge issue instead of thinking long term. What is the best for the United States? What rises all our tides so all our ships in the harbor rise together? But instead, I'll give you the example. Governor Abbott of Texas, he decided he's going to inspect trucks coming across the border because he says the Biden administration is not doing enough to stop undocumented immigrants from coming across the United States. So therefore, all of these undocumented immigrants must be in the back of a truck somewhere, and we're going to fine them because the U.S. government's too stupid to do it.
Wow.
Okay. So what did Abbott do instead? He, besides trucks having to go through Customs and Border Patrol for international trade, they now had to have gone through Texas border control, state border control, backed up trucks for over 30 hours at the border. Fruits and vegetables were rotting on trucks that were coming across from Mexico. And ultimately, pressure was building on Abbott to retreat from these inspections as gridlock on the border worsened and worsened. The American Trucking Association called the inspections wholly flawed, redundant, and adding considerable weight to an already strained supply chain. And according to the Texas International Produce Association, approximately $150 million worth of fruit and vegetables were stalled. $390 billion worth of goods come from Mexico. It's the second largest trading partner of the United States, second only to China. Now, Abbott called the inspections a zero-tolerance policy for unsafe vehicles, smuggling migrants illegally across into Texas. And you know how many migrants they found?
None.
Zero.
And I thought it was funny where they where they said it was also unsurprising that they found zero because the cartel, because they were looking for drugs as well, and they were like the cartel knew about the inspection or something like that.
Of course. I mean, if you announce, you know, if you go, by the way, we're gonna be coming to your safe house, cartel.
No sense.
We're gonna be coming to your safe house in 3 days to go arrest you all for drugs. Don't you think they'd be out of the safe house at that point?
Obviously.
So nobody's smuggling anybody because it was all announced ahead of time anyway.
Yeah.
It was all one big political charade to just make it another cultural wedge issue.
Yeah.
Instead of dealing with immigration as it should be. Immigration should be dealt with as what is best economically for the United States, what is best for the United States to be a beacon of hope for everybody, to accept people who are struggling, people who are escaping war and famine and everything else. That's the purpose of immigration.
Yeah.
And by the way, as Jill mentioned to me in my ear, they rarely, even if they don't announce that they're going to be doing inspections, rarely do they find migrants.
Yeah.
Good point, Jill. Rarely do they find migrants at inspections being smuggled in.
Right.
Migrants, if they're running across the border, they're running in rural areas where Department of Homeland Security is not, you know, mountains, deserts, crossing in between cities.
Right.
Only 5% of Customs and Border Patrol encounters with migrants who are trying to enter undocumented are actually at the border. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.